Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch. Welcome back, long-time listeners. Welcome back, Shades.
Welcome back, Sketch. Glad to be here.
Guys, every time you join us in our GoCo, our Geeking Out Command Outpost, in a different corner of the entertainment multiverse.
Oh.
Little
Like what you did there.
Little spin on it
Is that
this
a
time.
season 3?
That was a little season 3 special.
Long-time listeners, start a list now of changes we make for season 3.
Yeah, and then tell us what they were.
Yeah, because we probably won't be able to tell you.
Yeah, so every time you join us in a different corner of the old Geeking Out multiverse. And Shades, this is a bit of a mess, bit of a heap.
This is,
bit of a burned out shell.
Not the accommodations that I am accustomed to, Sketch.
Yeah, we've been in some schwankier places than this.
This is
New
quite
York
literally
a
shithole.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are we? Any
Sketch,
more specifics?
GoCo hastily set up.
It's been a while
inside.
Since we've been hastily set up.
Yes. Hastily set up. Watch out for falling debris.
Yeah.
Hastily set up in the remnants of the Schism warehouse.
Yeah.
Tower
/ like
thing.
recording studio. Well, they don't do the recording
broadcast
studio. Yeah. Schism. Do you even know what we're talking about?
Do you know any idea if we're talking about?
Probably not. I would say, based on the status of this location, I would say the shit went down.
We were ready.
We were ready. Not everyone else
Not
was.
everyone was.
Not
no.
Fuckface there.
Fuckface was
this episode is going to have some strong language.
Fuckface was not prepared.
Mainly because
for the shit that went down.
Of the property that we're doing. And so if we're talking about Fuckface and the shit that went down, we must be talking about
Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
Sketch, do we have a theme song?
I believe we do. When the shit goes down, you gotta be ready.
Perfect. I feel like I was listening to Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, I call him.
Yes.
Because of the respect level.
Oh, boy.
Senor Hill.
Just stop. Stop.
Monsignor
Before we
Hill.
offend anybody else.
I don't even know who.
Cypress Hill, a group?
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
You may have known their other hits that you might be familiar with that like crossed into pop culture genre, Insane in the Membrane.
Oh, I know Insane in the Membrane.
Yeah, Insane in the Brain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Deep dive for you. The membrane they're talking about, the brain. Did you?
I did not know that.
There you go. So guys, we are talking Guns Akimbo for this episode.
Right off the bat, top to bottom, this movie was Cocoa Bananas.
Bananas.
Do you remember where that came from? We tried to figure it out. I don't know if we set upon it.
No.
Tropic Thunder. Cocoa Bananas.
Tropic Thunder. Is that the one with Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes,
and
in blackface.
And Ben Stiller?
Yes.
How about that? I don't even know.
And Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan. And he...
Are you a fan of Alan Partridge?
Who's Alan Partridge?
It's a character that Steve Coogan does.
I don't know.
I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Okay.
That might be an interesting deep dive for a future episode.
Oh, are you guys still here?
Hi,
LTLs.
long-time listeners.
Yeah, so we watched the movie Guns Akimbo on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Crazy. I've been wanting to watch it for a while.
I've come across it. It was on Netflix for a hot minute.
Ooh.
I think. And or maybe it was Amazon Prime, but like I've been aware of this. I've seen it come up on a streaming something and been like, that looks interesting. Is that Daniel? Is that Harry Potter?
It's Daniel.
It's Harry Potter. He's holding guns.
Yeah, the thumbnail is and you might have even seen the meme.
To shit.
It's a very
very popular meme.
It's a very
all memes are popular.
Beaten down looking Harry Potter. Yes, Daniel Radcliffe, like in a bathrobe holding two handguns.
Yeah.
And Amazon Prime was like, hey, you'd like this.
You'd like this.
And I was like, okay, I'll put it on the list.
Sure. Yeah. But I had not, it was on my list probably for 2 years.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it.
No, I never watched it. And then all of a sudden when I was I went into Amazon Prime for something else that we were going to do. I was like, oh, I should see if Amazon Prime has it. And then I went on in my Prime account and it was still like, hey, you should watch Guns Akimbo. And I was like, okay, fuck it, Amazon Prime. I'm going to watch Guns Akimbo one of these nights. And I did. And then we decided to do the movie.
Yeah.
So,
and then you were like, hey, I really wanted to watch this. I'm thinking about watching it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it for the pod? And I was like, I was also thinking about watching this.
Yeah. So, kind of out of nowhere, kind of organically, that's our history with Guns Akimbo.
Usually we do history. This is the history I found for Guns Akimbo. Announced in 2017 with Daniel Radcliffe, shot on location in Auckland and Berlin. That is the history of this movie.
That's the history.
It is directed by Jason Lee Howden, who also wrote it.
So it's a movie from New Zealand.
Yes.
We don't do a lot of movies from New Zealand on this podcast. So this is probably only like the fourth, probably. But it was like, and of course it hit at a, pandemic times.
Yes.
So everything is wishy-washy, upside down, what's going on. And we're like, F it, let's do it.
Let's fucking watch it.
Let's do it. So we're gonna spoil Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
I think so.
I really think that's it. I don't
think there's a larger universe of anything.
It's such this nice little nugget of a thing.
I will say I really appreciated that it leaves the possibility that the story and the universe could continue in something without directly setting up a sequel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could absolutely continue, but it doesn't have to.
I did go and find like an interview with Daniel Radcliffe, just
Mr. Radcliffe.
Like why he just like why did Harry Potter do this movie?
Yeah.
Harry Potter must not go to New Zealand. And he was just like,
that was a good Hermione impression.
It was actually my Dobby impression.
Oh, this is awkward. This is awkward.
Dobby. Anyway.
No spoilers.
No spoilers for Dobby.
We didn't do a spoiler alert for Harry
Potter. Oh boy. Okay. Daniel Radcliffe was like, I love 80s action movies.
Yep.
I don't get the opportunity to play a character like this very often. I haven't really done stunts since Harry Potter. I really enjoyed doing stunts. And
he did not do a lot of gunfight stunts in Harry Potter.
He had never done
very few.
He's like, this is not a character that I think I would have gotten to play. I read the script 10 pages in. I was like, I want to do this movie.
There you go. And
so he did it. And so we usually like spend some time on our history with a property, the history of the property. So Sketch, I'm just going to ask you, like, what's your history with Daniel Radcliffe? Are you a what are that
Potheads?
I don't think that's what they call them.
Not just pothead.
No.
Is it Potterhead?
That might be.
I guess that answers the question.
Are you?
Am I one?
Are you do you want to go to Hogwarts? Is that your thing?
No, it was never my thing. But I got on the Harry Potter train, no pun intended, late. Right. So I think they came out when we were in college,
high school. We were in high school. The first one came out in 2001, I believe.
Okay, so it came
or
out
98 or something like 98 or 2001, somewhere in there.
And I had friends who read it. I was never like, I don't know. I never did. But then, I don't know. After college, I had some time, and I picked up the first one, and then I blew through all of them. The timing kind of worked out because without planning to, I blew through all of them just in time for like the last one to come out. So I was like just in time for all the hype of Deathly Hallows. And then as far as the movies go, at least one of them was in theaters when I worked at the theater.
Yeah.
But I don't think I definitely didn't see any of them in the theaters. Maybe, I take that back. I did see the last one in theaters because, like I said, I had caught up in time for the hype train.
Right.
So, like basically everyone, with the exception of his close family, that was my first interaction with Daniel Radcliffe.
Gotcha.
Was young Harry Potter.
Young Harry Potter, yeah.
And other than Harry Potter, I watched. I think I recommended it once. The Miracle Workers show where he plays an angel. That was very funny. They've done 2 more seasons. I just haven't gotten around to watching.
Season 2 is Medieval Ages, and season 3 is the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. I haven't seen either of them. gotta get back on that. I've always liked him. I've always liked him in interviews, and he just seems like a kind of a fun guy. He's guest hosted or guest appeared on How Did This Get Made, the podcast that we've listened to before. I like hearing him speak. So I mean, that's really my history with Daniel Radcliffe. I'm not like a Daniel Radcliffe like fanboy. I'm not like following his career with bated breath. But when he pops up from time to time, I'm always pleasantly surprised and appreciative that he's there. So what a glowing endorsement from me, huh?
Yeah. He's all right.
I mean, no, I think he's more than all right, but I'm always happy to see him.
Yeah.
I'm never not happy to see him.
Likewise.
But I'm also not looking for him. I'm not out there like, what's the next Daniel Radcliffe project I can watch?
Gotcha.
But whenever I see one and he's in it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Sorcerers, the Philosopher's Stone, I should say, is what it was titled in the UK. They changed the title in the US to the Sorcerer's Stone. Came out in 1997. The movie came out in 2001.
Okay, so that was the one I was there for. That was the one I was at the theater.
That was the
for
first
when I was
movie.
Working at the theater.
So I remember shelving this book in my high school library. That was like, I didn't really have any interest or like knowledge of what they were.
Yeah.
My first job out of college, my first teaching job, I think they were on book. There are 7 books. There are 8 movies. I think they were either on book 5 or book 6.
Okay.
Or maybe it was book 7.
Well, because we got out of college at the same time. We got our first jobs at the same time, and when I got out of college and I read them, that's when 7 came out. Like pretty soon.
Okay, so
pretty soon
7
after.
was coming out when we first
got out of school.
Yeah, and I remember like they did like the summer reading list. That's what they were doing, and people were like waiting in line at bookstores to get it, and like they dress up in costumes and like do all the different houses and read with your house, and it was an event. I was like, "Are you gonna do it?" I'm like, "Nope, not interested."
Yeah. The occult.
No, it just I didn't. What I knew of the story, I had no interest in, because I actually do like horror, Lovecraft. Like I'm into those like kind of gory, gritty.
Yeah.
Like I like Poe. I love reading those dark, supernatural-esque stories.
And I also don't know why.
But Harry Potter never seemed to.
It didn't grab me, and it wasn't until I was like, I should pick one up and see.
The local comic book store that I lived near had the whole thing on Blu-ray. So the movies.
Yeah.
So roughly 2008, I would say. 2010, I think, were the last 2 movies.
Okay.
So like 2009, 2010, the final movies must have been coming out.
Okay.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. Everything was doing 2-part things. That was like Twilight, final book, Part 1, Part 2. Everything had like 2 parts to their final installment.
Hunger Games did that.
Hunger Games Part 1, Part 2. So they had at That's Entertainment Sorcerer's Stone through Deathly Hallows Part 1 for like $50 on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Somebody had traded them in. I was like, all right, I'll bite. It was less than, it was stupid. It was like $20 for
stupid
for
amount.
6 movies.
Yeah.
7 movies. Bought them.
That's entertainment.
That is entertainment. Thanks, Betsy.
You get it? That's
they also comped me a copy of The Holiday.
The Holiday.
Yeah, just as like so I got 7 Harry Potter movies and The Holiday that, let's be honest, no one at That's Entertainment was going to buy.
I don't know what The Holiday is.
It's a rom-com with Jack Black and Jude Law and Kate Winslet. And
I am completely unaware of this. How was it?
Catherine, no.
Is this the Holiday episode?
I don't know. I've still never watched it.
Oh, no. Oh,
it's upstairs.
We should watch it.
It's upstairs in my movie collection, but I've still never watched it. So anyway, I watched them all. I'm like, I need to know how this ends.
Yeah.
Like, watched them all. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, that's a cliffhanger to leave off.
Yeah. And so then
1.
during exams, I was giving exams, end of the year. I'm trying to beat the movie coming out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it spoiled. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I am thoroughly invested in this story.
Yeah.
I read Deathly Hallows in 2 days during my exams. I was like, if you ask me a question, I'm going to fail you.
Yeah.
Do not interrupt me.
Yeah.
And they're like, people raise it. I'm like, this better be a good fucking question.
Wow.
Because like, no spoilers for the book. Like
no spoilers.
This is where I am. I read like the biggest book I had ever read, the fastest I have ever read a book in my life still.
Yeah.
No, not true. Not true. I've read books faster now.
Oh.
But 2 days. So like.
What a roller coaster we're going on here.
I just devoured this book. I was like, holy shit, what a great story.
Yeah.
Now it's over.
So let me ask you this. Did you ever read 1 through 6?
I tried to go back and be like, oh wow, this is so much better than Deathly Hallows Part 1 already. I didn't want to go back. And so I started with Sorcerer's Stone. I was like, this is too juvenile.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie more.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tried that. Second, third, the fourth book.
Yeah. Starts getting dark.
I was like, oh, okay, I like this. So then I read 4. I went back and read 4 through 7.
Okay.
And I was like, I'd already read 7, but I read 4, 5, and 6. And I was like, ooh, this is great.
Probably not the recommended read order.
No, but I enjoyed it still. I was like, ooh, there's stuff missing. And I will also say, from what I read of 1 and 2, the first 3 movies are the books almost like
very faithful.
They match up almost entirely. There's no differences. The fourth, I think the movies are better moving forward, but they leave a lot of stuff out of the book that's important. Anyway, I did famously ruin, I think, when they were doing like summer, or they were reading it for something. Yeah, 7 couldn't have been coming out when I was teaching, because I remember spoiling the reveal of 6.
Okay. Big reveal.
Spoilers. Snape kills Dumbledore.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah.
I was like,
getting to that.
I was like, or maybe they were reading it for like English. I don't know. But I remember spoiling that.
Yeah.
For a group of students that were being particularly unruly, and they were very invested in it. Like, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to spoil the ending of the book. And
you did.
And I don't think
they pushed you.
They pushed me. And I was like, Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And just calamity ensued. And I didn't care at that point.
Oh yeah.
Because like the lesson was ruined, day was over. Snape kills Dumbledore. Like, books thrown in the air, like calamity, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, I warned you.
F them.
They never pushed me again.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Very good.
Sketch, what's your history with action movies? Are you an action movie guy?
Wait, you never even got to Daniel Radcliffe.
I like Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, just
he prefers Dan or Daniel. Don't call him Danny.
Oh, I don't
know. I'm just saying.
I don't think I did.
He doesn't particularly like Danny, because
to me it's a Daniel. It's always a Daniel.
He introduces himself as Dan.
Interesting.
I'll listen to a podcast.
Dan
Radcliffe. Yeah.
Dan Rad.
Dan Rad. Hey, Rad. I like Daniel Radcliffe. I really like him. I like him in everything I've seen him in. And he seems like a genuinely down to earth person that I would like to hang out with.
I hope he is, because
I really think he is. Yeah. And he very easily could have been one of those child actors that did lots of drugs.
Oh yeah.
Spent all of their money.
All the others. Yes.
And is just a horrible, horrible human being.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in the cast is like a horrible human being. Some people pissed away their money on stupid things.
Yeah.
And like destroyed their careers. But I don't think anybody's like a horrible, drug-addled.
Nothing's come out, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of. I don't really follow the cast.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna come bite us.
Malfoy was on Flash for a little while.
Oh yeah, he was there.
But he seemed Tom something.
Yeah, Tom something. It's Tom something. I think it begins with an F.
Felton. Tom Felton.
Whoa! I don't even know.
Is that
actress. It? Oh, maybe.
I think so. Tom Felton.
Right into the show, Tom Felton. Did we get your name right?
Was that Goodspeed, or was that or Godspeed, or was that Zoom?
I think it was Zoom. Yeah.
The Jay Garrick twist.
Yeah.
Right. Spoilers for Flash.
Oh boy, we didn't know anything that we were going to spoil this episode. All right, so we're both in the same.
I really like Daniel Radcliffe. I feel like
Radcliffe.
I will watch anything he's in.
Yeah, this movie did make me go, I need to watch more with Daniel Radcliffe.
And I love that he
chooses. Dan.
I love that he chooses like these vehicles and like takes risks and doesn't just do.
I agree.
Crazy things.
And I wrote that down as a rave, but it's not really a rave of this movie. It's just a rave
of Daniel Radcliffe rave.
Dan. That he really does seem like he's in the kind of the place.
Yeah.
Professionally, career-wise, where like, you know, Harry Potter made a good deal of money.
Right.
He
launched him to stardom, and then like,
and he's young. He's
30.
He's got tons of
crazy. He's
tons
like
of
30,
career ahead
30
of him.
or 32.
And so he can really like be like, this interests me. This looks entertaining. I don't need to worry about the box office on this. I don't need to worry about the over under.
And you can
this just
tell
seems
that
fun.
He put in the work to like really develop his acting chops. The guy, like, he's a good actor. He has an excellent American accent. I was very surprised when he opened his mouth.
I was too. I was ready to say something.
There was no reason.
There was nothing for
that he had to have an American accent.
No.
But I think it really sold like the schlubby, mundane aspect of his loserdom in this movie. That he had like a typical American accent.
Oh yeah, and that he was an internet troll and everything.
It was great. The last thing I want to say is about this is in terms of like Potter, it's just that
Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah, let's move on. We can move on. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Let's move on.
What a roller coaster ride.
Yep.
All right.
I'm a little rusty, Sketch.
So
I like Radcliffe. I feel like I'll just watch anything he's in. Oh, I was saying he really developed his acting chops, and like you look at the things he's taken since Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. He's a really good actor. And the star of Harry Potter could have just like continued to milk that and done.
Oh, yeah.
And like never taken an acting class and just continued to make garbage off of being Harry Potter.
And you would have
being like an idol or a heartthrob.
You would have kind of just expected that. You would have been like, that's
many
what they do.
Child actors from the 80s and 90s who like were in franchises similar to this did.
Yeah. But not him.
Nope.
Not Dan Rad. I was just about to say something. Speaking of Daniel Radcliffe, after I watched this movie, then Amazon Prime. It's always like, hey, be like this, And it showed me another movie is in The Jungle.
I'm totally unaware.
Yeah.
Is it good? Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. But
do you want to do that next?
Well, here's the thing. It looks
long-time listeners. Next up, The Jungle.
It looks hella suspenseful.
Oh,
like he plays this guy like a tourist who I don't know, goes somewhere with jungles, and he follows this. All I did was watch the trailer, guys, so I'm not going to spoil anything that's not in the trailer. He like follows this guide. He wants to have like this authentic jungle experience, and I guess the guy like is kind of crazy and just like leaves him in the jungle, and he's just like this, kind of like Guns Akimbo. He's just like this average normal guy, and all of a sudden he's been thrust into having to survive in like
he's like
the
bushwhacking, and he's in the Amazon,
but
and
looks
he's
like
wading through swamps.
It looks
and riding
like
riverboats.
Well, it's the kind of survival movie where it's like it's literally someone just surviving the worst shit that could happen to them over it. He's not thriving.
It sounds like City of Zion.
I don't know
that with Robert Pattinson.
Okay, maybe it sounds.
I think that's what it's called. City of Zion.
So I watched that trailer and I was like,
"Oh, it's called Lost City of Z." That's what it's called.
Oh,
with Robert Pattinson.
Still haven't seen
I got there. It was very good. And Robert Pattinson was very convincing in it.
But I watched that trailer and I'm like, "Fuck, he's all over the place. Like he'll do whatever.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Looks fun to him and entertaining or challenging.
Good script. He likes it. He's in.
So I don't know if I'll catch that one just because it looks so suspenseful, and that's not what I see movies for. Like,
so you're not
anxiety.
So you're not like a shoot 'em up action movie kind of guy.
No, I like shoot 'em up action when I didn't grow up. We've talked about this.
Yes.
I didn't grow up with action movies. I grew up with comedies.
Gotcha.
And so I didn't watch a lot of action movies, and the action movies that I have watched just from the 80s and 90s, I've watched recently, like relatively recently in my life. I like them, especially when they are, that action movies. When it's just like fast-paced action and it's just like
no plot.
Holy shit, that was crazy. Oh my god, this is awesome. You're like boom, boom, boom. The Jungle looks more like
Gotcha.
I'm going to feel very uncomfortable a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm going to feel bad for
Gotcha.
him, and I'm
He's gonna lose
that
fingers.
kind of like that kind of. I
He's
don't
gonna
want
get machetes bolted to his hands.
I don't. Here's this. I don't want to see
And his
someone
feet.
suffer.
Yeah.
In an action movie, the suffering is light, and the
suffers
and
quite
the
a bit in this movie.
the
Spoiler.
retaliation is stronger. So that's
Gotcha.
how I am with action movies. Now, if I remember correctly, I think you're much more versed
I grew
in
up
action
with
movies.
like these stupid action movies.
Yeah.
Because they were always running in syndication, like Predator, all the Predator movies that I don't think I've ever watched a Predator movie in a movie theater or on like streaming.
Predator was not a Graham movie.
That was not a grand movie, but they were all movies that I saw on television. Predator 1 and 2 with Danny Glover, which is just a bonkers, terrifying movie. Saw on television. The things that they showed on like daytime television in the summer is shocking to look back on. Like Predator, Alien. I had never seen any of the Alien movies in a movie theater except Alien versus Predator, which I don't particularly recommend.
I've never seen a single Predator, and I only just saw Alien, the first one,
right
before pandemic, so like a year and a half
The first
ago.
Predator movie is just fucking bonkers.
In a good way?
I mean, it's like, it's just crazy. It just takes place in this like South American jungle with these like American commandos, and I can't remember the setup of why they're there. I mean, it looks like Arnold shot Predator and Commando back to back on the same location.
Oh, yeah.
And they just like swapped out the crews that he was working with.
Yeah.
Like it almost looks like he went from set to set because he looks exactly the same in both movies. I don't know if there's any truth to that. It's just my memory.
But that's not going to stop.
But these are all movies that I sold. These are all movies that I saw on television with commercials.
Yeah.
And I fucking love them. And this is like the era of the A-Team with like outlandish explosions and like people get shot up and blown up. But there's no blood. Like it's like very light consequence. Like, okay, they died, but dying just means they're not on camera anymore.
Yeah.
Or like the whole jungle explodes but the jungle is still standing.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's
like,
a good thing.
The fire does not consume everything. It's just like a little smoke. So I grew up with that kind of movie. And then, so I've seen a lot of like mindless action movies. This is not a mindless action movie.
No.
But it plays with all of those tropes in a new way. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's my history with that. And that's all I got. I got some internet scores.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of, I mean, what is this? This episode is going to be like what, high 70s, early 80s. I don't know where we're at, but think of everything we've done and how many times can we say like, yeah, this movie's just a movie. Like it just got made. Like someone wrote it as a movie and then filmed it as a movie, and it's a movie.
An IP that's been developed. It's not a book that got turned into a TV series that got remade as a movie, and there aren't like 15 of them.
Yeah.
It's just a movie.
And it's nice to do that every once in a while.
It really is. I really appreciated this.
All right. All important internet scores.
IMDb. It was at a 6.3.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes critic score is a 51. Fan score is a 40. Metacritic critic score is a 42. Fan score is a 62.
Okay.
The fan score is calculated as a point, but it's 1 to 10.
Yeah.
So I just convert that to
Google.
84% of Google reviewers love this movie.
Love you, Google.
Did I forget to do Google scores for Space Jam?
Yeah, we'll pop it in the midstream.
We'll pop it in the midstream. And I felt like this was a movie that escaped from the 80s, so I gave it an 85.
There you go. Very nice.
I used your metrics for
my
it.
80s metric. I gave it a 78.
Okay.
So we're ballparking it.
Yeah, that's okay.
You know my other metric with watch more than once.
Yeah.
This was a movie where I was definitely happy to see. I'm glad I watched it.
Streamed it.
Yeah. I'm glad I streamed it. I don't feel the need to own it.
I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
And I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But I
might.
I'm pleased with the experience.
Yep.
And if someone were like to say, or like if I came over and you were like, "Yo, I'm going to watch Guns Akimbo. You want to watch it with me?"
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Fuck
Sure.
yeah, I'll watch it with you."
It's
So
smoke some crack.
78.
Eat a hot dog.
It has it's been in there 8 months. I do have some crack. That being said, I mean, it has some issues. I mean, it has some problems that come along with
it has a lot
kind of
of
coming out of
problems.
nowhere. But we'll get there. But let's not start at rants.
Yeah.
Oh wait, do we have to play the game?
We have to play the game.
Did you find the
game?
game?
I did, yeah. Sketch. How much do you think this movie cost to make?
I feel like it's lower budget than we're used to.
I'm nodding my head in approval.
$45 million.
Okay.
Is that a lower budget?
I don't think that's as low as you think it is.
This podcast has altered my thoughts on money.
I mean,
right,
we're so
30
used, well,
million.
Here's the thing. We're so used to doing like Marvel and DC releases over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Those have like ridiculous budgets.
Ridiculous where it's just so hard to wrap your head around.
180 million, 300 million.
All right, 28 million.
That's not
28 million.
typical.
Final answer, 28 million.
28 million. It's a good guess. 15. It costs 15 to make.
That's cheap.
By Hollywood standards, yes.
Yeah, but yeah.
We're talking like
not by like my wallet standards.
It's not in this notebook, but I feel like this is the metric that I always go against. It's like I think Beetlejuice cost $11 million.
Uh-huh.
I believe many years ago. So like adjusted, it's probably ballpark same amount of money.
$15 million. Okay.
How much do you think this movie grossed?
I don't think a lot for multiple reasons.
What's your guess?
I will guess 20 million.
20 million? Okay, that's a good guess. Because movies typically make about 5 million more if they don't perform well. That was a great guess.
Yeah, I was just gonna guess a little more than what it made. Well, like I mean, what it took to make it, like a little more than. I don't think it made less than it cost. I hope it didn't make less than it cost.
You would hope.
What did it make? 1 million.
$1 million. It grossed $1 million.
That's a bit of a loss.
It's a big loss.
$1 million.
$1 million.
It's tough though because it didn't get a theatrical release. $1 million. I imagine it would have gotten.
It didn't get a theatrical release, and I don't believe it was a like. If you want to watch this, pay the price of a ticket on Amazon. It just went straight. It
was just on my Amazon.
A lot of
Prime.
movies did that.
Yeah.
Fearing that we were going to be in pandemic for ever.
Yeah. Okay.
But this movie came out in 2019, so it must have gotten a very small theatrical run. It's a New Zealand movie. It was released in New Zealand. Yeah. I think the only reason we're watching it is because it went to streaming. Yeah. I don't think it would have had a very wide release in the U.S.
So 1 million New Zealand bucks.
I don't know if it's American dollar or New Zealand or euro. I don't know what it is. It just said 1 million.
1 million something.
My research.
Interesting. That's
good.
Low.
It's very good. I dare say there won't be a sequel.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say I don't think there'll be a sequel, but we should like look up if this was the lowest grossing property we've ever done. It has to be.
It has to be. If it made $1 million, yeah.
Very low.
I'm nodding my head and saying, oh yeah, it must be the thing that we've done that's made the least amount of money, but I feel like we did a movie that made like 80,000.
Okay, we'll check in on that.
I feel like we did a property that didn't make quite $1 million.
We're not gonna figure it out now, so we'll
if it's in this book, we will. I'm just flipping through the pages.
I know.
This is riveting audio.
Yeah, I was trying to fill the space as you're just riveting.
Flipping. Flip. I could go on forever. There's a lot of pages here, long-time listeners. I've forgotten how to do this show. Okay.
Rants and raves.
Rants and raves. There we go. Do you want to start with raves?
Yeah, raves. Great. Too hard to come back from rants because rants are fun. And then it's hard to justify raves.
Do you want to start? You want me to start?
You start.
Okay. I love the cast of this movie. Mm-hmm. I love that these actors all get to play characters that they probably wouldn't get to play otherwise. Mm-hmm. So like every actor in this movie is kind of cast against their type, except for Rhys Darby, but he was fucking brilliant.
Oh, we'll get there.
So I just love that, like, this is a movie, like, Daniel Radcliffe gets to play, like, this Frankenstein-esque monster character, like, lovable loser, lots of stunts. I love Nyx, Samara Weaving's Nyx. She's kind of always cast as, like, ingenue kind of thing, and she's just, her character of Nyx is just unhinged and psychotic, yet completely likable, but you never root for her.
No.
Like, the character of Nyx is you can't help but like that character. It's a strong character.
Yeah.
Like she's energetic.
She's a bad guy.
She is a bad person that kills lots of people, but she's always fun on screen, but you never root for her.
Spoiler alert. It's a good thing she dies.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. It is good that her character dies in the way that she dies. Ned Dennehy's Richter is just like the definition of like I forgot another character. I can't remember what he says to him, but like makes like you can't show you need me. You can't kill me. You got like tattoos all over your fucking
was like
face.
The producer or whatever.
Yeah. He was the
video editor or whatever.
No. That was the cop says that to him. Like, you can't. What are you going to do to me? You need me. I bring legitimacy. I'm the face of your organization.
Yeah.
Ow. God damn it, motherfucker.
I think the movie.
Relevant to this episode, I had hand surgery recently. Every time you hear me go, motherfucker, I've tapped my finger in such a way when I've had it's relevant to this. It's relevant to one of my rants. We will get to that later. But it's so batshit crazy and fun. And these actors, it would be very easy for them to have phoned in a performance for this.
Oh, yeah.
And none of them do.
Yeah.
Everybody like is there engaged. It's heightened. And they're like, every actor is all in on this. Even
everyone's committed.
Everyone's committed. Even like the dad, like spoilers, Nix's father is the detective that's like tracking Daniel Radcliffe. Like he is all in on that like 1980s cop dad.
Yeah.
My little girl, my family they died in front of my eyes. Like sympathetic, pudgy cop that you think is going to be like the badass and like put boot to ass, like with his like revolver that somehow he's not dying in this thing. And then
got that huge revolver. I forgot about that.
And then like subvert your expectations, just quickly shot in the fucking head. And it was brilliant.
That really did surprise me. I was not expecting that at all.
Like you're totally thinking that like he's gonna use like Miles to go and like save his daughter, and you're like, I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, like then they're gonna save Nix and they're all gonna fight, and just like boom, shot in the head, dead. And like when Nix and Miles meet, he's like, don't shoot me. Like the guy who runs Schism killed your family. Oh, and like and he killed your dad.
And he's right there.
And he's right there.
Yeah.
Like that's how you subvert expectations.
Oh yeah. That
like
was
in a like big time. Not by like destroying something you love. Fuck you, Rian Johnson.
We're still talking.
Yeah,
Last
always.
Jedi.
And that's how you subvert expectations.
Yeah, that one really did.
It was so good. It's so smart. It's so fun.
Because I wrote down early in my notes as I was watching it, like first or second scene with the cops, I was like, I'm calling it now. This cop is Nix's dad.
Yeah.
And then there's the reveal that it's their dad. And for a second, I was feeling good about myself. Like, yep, saw that coming. And then boom. And I was like, did not see that
coming.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yep. And every time you think you figured something out in this movie, or like figured out a character motivation, or like, like Nix is going to be redeemed, or like
this is gonna
Miles is going to get the girls, like they just keep pulling the rug out from under you. It's like every trope that you would find in an action movie is subverted.
Well, and I put that's one of my official raves, is that it doesn't, and I was focusing mainly on the ending here, that it doesn't have like a classic where you're led to believe Hollywood ending, like Miles is going to get the girl, and you know,
and they tease it too.
Oh, they definitely tease it.
Like that tease was so smart and so just so brilliant.
And so he, you know, she's traumatized, rightfully so, and he's like bleeding out on the.
What does he say? Like they do this big 80s, like there's like an anthem.
Oh yeah,
that's not an actual song. They wrote it for the song.
She runs into his arms.
There's like colored smoke in the background.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's such a twist from the movie.
And
it's
I
like
forgot
all
what
of a
he
sudden
says. He's like, this is
strange.
Not like hypoxia or like, but it's basically like this is a fever dream from I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah. Like I'm going into shock from blood loss.
You don't
That
get,
didn't happen.
that didn't happen. You
don't watch your ex-boyfriend like murder someone by throwing them off a building and then not be traumatized by that or something like that.
You get post-traumatic stress.
Yeah. And so, and like Miles is this normal average guy. Does he go back to his normal average life at the end of this? No.
He's forever changed.
He's forever altered by this. And I like that. I appreciate that a lot. And like you said at the beginning,
he becomes Nix, like a less psychotic version of Nix.
Yeah, he comes out of it like the two merged.
Yep.
And he comes out somewhere in the middle.
And I like what they did too, because the events of Nix's life broke her.
Yeah.
Like her family dying in the way that they did.
No, it wasn't an act. She was certifiably insane.
Yes. And went to prison, and like we learned that Richter both killed her family and recruited her in the game. That's what they do. They find like broken, pathetic people, bring them into this game of schism.
Yeah.
And like pit them against each other. Yeah. And like, so the events of Nix's life broke her, drove her completely insane, turned her into a monster. And like the events of this turned Miles, like it really like birthed Miles as a person. He's a whole it's crazy to say, but he is a whole person at the end of the movie.
I would say that this
in a way that he wasn't at the beginning.
The events of this movie also broke Miles, but that's a good thing.
Yes.
Because he wasn't a good guy or a good person.
He was just floating through life like many people.
Through life, and he was definitely skewed more towards the negative side of things. And
I would argue that he was not a good person.
Oh, that's why it's called
schism. Yeah,
it broke him.
Yep.
But it broke him, and then he reformed himself on the other side of it as
a better person.
Yep. Better what this world needs.
This fictional world in which schism exists.
So maybe we should say, because maybe
set up the premise of the movie.
Maybe you didn't see this movie because it only made $1 million, and some of that probably isn't yours. Okay, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. You know him?
Yes, Harry Potter.
He is. He's just like a nobody. He's a low level programmer for like a phone.
He's a video game programmer, and he's like very good at coding, but he works for a shitty mobile game that constantly breaks. So he's a very good. It's established that he's a very good coder.
Yeah.
But his day job is for a shitty game.
Yeah. He's
Nut Job? Is it called Nut Job?
Yeah, I think it's called Nut Job or Nut Job 2 because it's a squirrel.
Yeah.
And in this world, in this fictitious world, there is this kind of illegal entertainment online called Schism, and it's just like psychopaths trying to kill each other.
It's a live action video game. What we learn is that they are people they're all recruited in some way, whether they're kidnapped or like busted out of jail, or like they're down in their luck.
Miles doesn't know that. It's just entertainment of just watching these psychotic people.
It's the WWE of this fictional world.
Yeah.
It's like it's perceived,
and it's deadly.
It's deadly, exactly. It's like a deadly version.
People place bets on it,
exactly,
and it's got such a following, but it's wildly illegal. This isn't like sanctioned or anything,
right?
And Miles also happens to be like a bit of a troll online, and he just pisses off the wrong people.
He's a drunk online troll. He just gets drunk and trolls people online.
And he trolls the wrong people.
While he's watching Schism, they dox him.
Yep.
And they release all of his information to the internet.
And then they capture him, drug him, and operate on him, and he wakes up with...
He wakes up in the middle of it, and you get to see through his eyes. Yeah. They are drilling through his hands.
Yeah, they're drilling through his hands because they're bolting on handguns into his hands.
He has these special handguns that are around his wrist on gauntlets.
Yeah, to feed more ammo.
To feed more ammo. Each gun holds 50 bullets. The guns are called lefty and righty.
Yep. Yeah, and they keep track of how many bullets.
They keep track of how many bullets he has.
And they're bolted to his hand.
His
hands
his fingers. Are bolted in his fingers and his hand. There's a bolt through the handle, the pistol grip, through his hand. It's like a carriage bolt.
Yeah, it looks very painful.
Yeah, it is a carriage bolt, like bolted to the outside through his hand.
Antiseptic. I need antiseptic.
I need to. Do you have any antiseptic?
There's no moving his hands.
No.
The only thing he can do is pull the trigger or not pull the trigger. Right. That's it. And so he's fucked. I mean, he's fucked. And they basically announce, okay, your next competitor is Nyx, and she's like the cream of the
She's like,
crop right
who
now.
the fuck is Miles?
She's like the fan favorite.
Right.
She's, you know, kind of this Harley Quinn.
The movie opens, I think,
girl.
with her like murdering a warehouse full of people.
Yeah, it's how we're introduced to Schism. It was a car chase.
Yeah,
and then she like, then later we see the warehouse.
And Nyx drives a Firebird, so I can't help but like her.
Yeah, and she murders a lot of people too.
Yep,
which is good.
Also,
because they're all bad people.
They're all bad people.
But she's not good. She's
right.
also bad. And basically, it's just Miles trying to survive being killed by Nyx while also getting out of this.
Yeah.
Getting out of Schism and the things he has to do, which, you know, spoiler alert, he basically has to fight his way to the top. It's very video game-esque.
Right.
That he just has to fight his way up until he can take out the boss. And, you know, at some point, they kidnap his ex-girlfriend, so he can't just run away.
Very tropey, very Scott Pilgrim.
Very tropey, very like a video game playing out.
Yeah.
And they play to that. Like they're not trying to be subtle about it. It's intentionally
a live action video game.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean that's the story.
Right down to like going, you know, finding the hidden respite where you can like unlock a chest and get some like some wisdom or knowledge of the game, where Daniel meets Rhys Darby's character.
Oh, I love that part. We're gonna get there. And also each character has their own power up.
Yep.
Where Miles needs his inhaler,
and Nyx snorts cocaine.
And then they can keep fighting.
I had to rewatch that because I was like, is he what? Did he just snort cocaine with Nyx? And I was like, I didn't realize it was a split screen. I'm like, that's so much better than it's his inhaler.
I love
Glenn Jammin. His name is Glenn Jammin.
Who's Glenn Jammin?
Rhys Darby's character.
Okay, well let's get to Rhys Darby's character because that's another rave of mine. So on this adventure, he wakes up in a bathrobe.
With footy bear pajamas,
footy slippers, and he quickly realizes he can't get dressed because he has handguns bolted to his hands. So he has to run through the streets in this ratty bathrobe and bear slippers with handguns bolted to his hands. And eventually, through adventure, he finds a clothing drop box, and he's trying to get dressed, and that's where we meet
Glenn Jammin.
A delightful little homeless guy.
He is unhoused gentleman who has his little encampment near this clothes drop off.
And he's like
a Yoda-esque character.
Yeah, he's very nice. He's unintentionally wise.
Yes. As the man says, when the shit goes down, and they don't finish it until the end. If you're in the know, you know.
Do you have any food? I got this half a hot dog.
Could you put it in my mouth for me? No.
Too much Daniel Radcliffe struggle with 3 minutes eating a hot dog with two handguns.
We're just organically going through here, the physical comedy of watching Radcliffe struggling to get dressed, use the bathroom, eat a hot dog, use his phone with guns.
The good thing about it is
gummed to his body,
it's almost like the producers of the movie knew there'd be two guys somewhere talking about this movie being like, how the fuck would he go to the bathroom? How the fuck would he get dressed? And they went through the time of showing it and making it hilarious.
A fake dong of him going to the bath. Yeah, it was fake. Yeah, I know. It was rubber.
Pissing all over the place.
Pissing all over.
You know what? It's okay. You didn't shoot your dick off.
It's it addresses all of anything you would say. It addresses it all. It addresses everything. At one point, I think someone says to him, you want me to wipe your ass too? It's well, actually, if you're willing to,
The guy says that too. He says, actually, that would be great if you're offering. Yeah.
It would be great if you're offering.
No. I don't have any more food. Hey, I'll do some crack.
Yeah.
And I also love the point. Okay, for starters, great delivery and everything he did. But I also love, if this was one of those typical movies, you would have half expected to be him to be oh, Schism, yeah. I used to work on Schism, and I have all this inner information, and they forced me out, and blah, 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 blah. Nope. he even says something like, "Oh, how come you don't think I'm good with the technical doodads?"
Right. Oh, how do you know?
I'm sorry.
How do you know I'm not a down on my luck master programmer that can help you?
And
Are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah. No. Just like the crack. And it's refreshing.
It is.
Like, it's very refreshing.
It is. And yeah, it's just so smart at every turn to like continually subvert your expectations.
And then his big reveal is like my favorite reveal of the entire movie.
I mean, it might be my favorite reveal of anything.
Wow.
The movie quick cuts to all of these people watching Schism through the whole movie.
Right, because it's live broadcast.
It's live broadcast, and we continually keep cutting to the same people, and they're like in a bar, and they're like,
yeah, it's like your tip. It's like all the different genres of people that you would think would watch this.
And Miles encounters some of them at different points.
Yeah.
So like we know that they exist. They're like people that he interacts with. We kind of follow them through the whole movie. And Glenn Jamin is one of the people they keep cutting to.
Yeah, watching on this little
for 90
TV.
minutes.
Yeah.
Watching on this little horrible TV that not even at the end, like in the middle of before he gets to Schism HQ where we are now, or like immediately after they reveal
before the big final fight.
Yeah.
There's nothing on it.
He is watching nothing.
We're just watching reaction shots of a crazy person.
Yes. Who's like done too much crack.
Yeah.
And that's that's so fucking amazing. And
so
even after they revealed it, they continue to cut to him.
Yeah. Oh.
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
And he even gets a little nod at the end as Miles drives off.
Yes. Like the man says.
Yep.
Fade out to Cypress Hill.
So it's like fun. I think that's what we're getting at.
You know what? It's like, it's fun in a way that Space Jam wasn't. Space Jam Legacy wasn't.
Yeah.
Just to reference that.
Yeah.
It's such a fun movie.
It is.
And I mean, we've organically talked about almost all of my raves. I'll just conclude my raves with it just treads upon familiar concepts in such fresh ways. It is like Die Hard and The Matrix mashed together. You get like Miles talking to Richter and Nix on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the everyman put in an impossible situation.
Yeah, very much so.
But succeeds not by being like a fucking badass tough guy.
He is not a badass.
He basically does one badass thing in the whole movie.
What's the badass thing you're referencing?
That he like intentionally like charges the fight at the boss fight on the rooftop.
Oh, sure. Yeah. He saves one bullet and you're like, this is going to be for Richter.
And I mean, fucking amazing. Like
Nix had taught him how to shoot.
Yes.
You're like, here's the moment. We all know where this is going.
And it's like he gets shot in the shoulder, shot in the neck, shot in the leg.
Oh, yeah.
There's one bullet left. I forgot what he says to him. It's like, it's time for you to fucking die or something like that. And like
action moving-y.
Completely misses.
Complete miss.
Shoots the
terrible miss.
Yeah.
And not a miss that like, haha, you think I missed, but I actually shot this chain and this and that. But nope, just a miss. Just a big old miss.
And has to like charge and throw him off the rooftop.
With like a struggle.
Yeah. It's not just like pick him. They both could have ended very badly.
Yeah.
And that was like, I think I fully intended to watch him go over the edge.
Yeah, I thought the story was going to end there, and it was going to kind of be like so that's my story.
Right.
That's how I died.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
But it's, it's very familiar action movies that you've seen repeatedly.
Yeah. But
just, refreshed in such a wonderful, smart, and rewarding by subverting.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're rewarded if you've seen a lot of these and you get the beats and the pattern and the rhythm of these kind of movies. You're rewarded by not getting that.
Yeah. And
on purpose.
I guess I should really go back and put a disclaimer at the top of this episode sketch that we really encourage you to watch this movie before you listen to this episode.
Yeah, well,
it's a little late
now. We can say that in the midstream or whatever, wherever
because we kind of spoiled it now.
Oh, we spoiled the whole thing, but yeah.
That's pretty much all my. It's pretty much all my raves.
We said we were going to spoil it, but yeah, we should really urge people to watch it.
Yeah,
it's not long.
No,
It's doable.
It's very short.
It's Daniel Radcliffe. You can imagine that it's Harry Potter in between years. At
Harry Potter traded his went home for Christmas break, got drunk and traded in his wand for some guns.
Yep.
I really only have like 2 rants.
Sure. Yeah. I really don't either. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. It's a question, but it's a rant.
Yeah. Ranty BQ. I have a ranty BQ too.
How the fuck does Miles function? It's hard to suspend my disbelief, particularly having just had hand surgery.
Yeah.
I not to brag, I was awake for the hand surgery.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he could physically pull the triggers.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he could if you just had bolts put through your hands and then nails hammered through your appendage. Like,
it's making me cringe.
If I brush my hand against a table, I'm like, I will start cursing because it hurts so goddamn much.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he functioned to escape his apartment. I don't understand how he physically pulled the triggers. And I know it's only a movie, but it was very hard for me to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
That he could function in the way that he did for as long as he did.
The only thing I will say, not being in the situation at all, is perhaps it's just the adrenaline of a life or death situation that just pumps you through it.
It's a great answer. But it was near impossible for me to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, well, I mean, the timing is unfortunate for you.
Yeah.
I think you would have had an easier time suspending your disbelief if you weren't experiencing something similar.
Yeah, and not just about, and it's the violence that it portrays is kind of cartoony at times. I think intentionally, but at one point, I believe he is ejected from a car through the windshield into another car and goes through that windshield.
Yeah. And then crawls out the door.
And then,
no, he should not have survived.
There's no way that he could have survived.
It's set up like the organization and the fights and everything. They're set up like a video game, but the violence level is comic book violence. It's like the still frames of like the blood splatter and the gun.
Yes.
Like,
it is gory
yeah.
in a way that I was not prepared for.
Yeah, I was not prepared for it either.
Yeah.
It got a lot gorier than I thought it was going to get, even with the guns bolted onto hands.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, my biggest one was like the pacing. And I get that the pacing of it's got to be intentional because this is such a frantic world.
Right.
And it's such a high octane thing, but there is no juxtaposition to anything normal and slower paced. Like even Miles's pre-gun surgery is still like they deposit his gun surgery. They're kind of depositing that he kind of lives this frantic life, even though he really doesn't. He always has his face down in his phone, and he's never noticing things around him, and he's kind of doing that to himself.
He's the character that Justin Long plays in Live Free or Die Hard.
Okay, did not see that, but
it's a reference. Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, at some point, I just needed the juxtaposition.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I needed like the normalcy, just so I further understood how out of normal this is for him, and then tied with some of the camera shots, which again I thought were like awesome, and I could see what they were doing with some of these really inventive camera angles, but at the same time, tied with the pace of it, it was like getting nauseating.
Right.
Where I just could not plant my feet on the ground and couldn't like take a breath and to be like, okay, where is this going? What is happening? What's my underlying current that I can just establish so I know what's crazy and what's established in this movie. So those two things tied together just made it really kind of hard to hold on to at times. But many times.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting that you brought that up. Did you ever see the movie Hardcore Henry?
No, but I remember after or mid watching this, I had a memory of like commercials for that.
Yeah.
It was like wasn't it like a first person movie?
They built a special rig that the whole movie is filmed in first person.
Yeah.
The premise is that a guy wakes up in a Moscow laboratory to learn that he's been brought back to life.
Uh-huh.
And they're trying to recapture him. And the whole movie, like the character doesn't speak. but the whole movie is filmed through that character's perspective.
Yeah, so it's like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
I did, yeah. Oh, God damn. Finger. I'm not intentionally doing that, guys. I apologize. I did see it. It's very quick. I don't think it's very long, but it really is like watching something like Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Incredibly violent. I thought it was the same director. I was like, oh, this had to be done by the person who did Hardcore Henry, or certainly influenced by it. But it's not.
Huh.
But
should give it a watch.
I agree. I did not enjoy the way the movie was filmed.
Yeah. And I felt like I constantly felt like I knew what they were going for,
right?
But was constantly like, "This isn't working.
This isn't working. This camera angle's too tight.
Yeah.
This camera angle is like too. It's
or
too.
This is
I'm
too
being
many
jostled.
spins.
Too many spins. The can't like.
Yeah.
You know, this is a steady cam shot, but we need to find another name for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting motion sick.
Yeah. Like I always saw the intention there, but oftentimes felt like nope.
Didn't
too much. Too little. Too much. Should have been different.
So yeah, I don't like the way the movie was shot. I did not find it compelling. And I also found it difficult to follow narratively, the way it was cut and shot. There's a lot of like split screen stuff, like one character's doing this, another character's doing that. Another thing I noticed they didn't follow the 180 rule.
What's the 180 rule?
So wherever the camera is in this, like if there was a camera in this room filming us, whenever they cut to you, your profile has to be on the side that is the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So if the camera is like by the entrance to the GoCo studio, like whenever they cut to you for a close up, like it has to frame you from your right profile. Whenever it cuts to me, it has to frame me from my left profile.
Oh, right. So that, so you can establish that your point of view is in the same spot.
Right. This movie
doesn't do that.
This movie has no regard for the 180 rule.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. It was disorienting. There's a lot of spinning shots.
There's a lot of spinning shots.
And there's a lot of, like, the camera just feels like it's free floating in the room like a drone. And maybe that was the intention because they do have a lot of drone shots.
A lot of drone shots. But
it was just a lot.
Yeah.
I had to, this is a 90-minute movie and I watched it over 3 days.
Wow.
Because it was just too much for me.
It's a lot to
visually,
take in.
Yeah. I think that was your rant that I piggybacked on.
Yeah, it might have been.
The last thing I want to say is, maybe this is just me, but it felt like it oddly glorified, like, guns and gun violence. Just in the way it was shot and the way it addressed it. Like Nyx is a psychopath because of who she is, not because of what she does.
Yeah.
And I think part of that might have been just like a disconnect because like the actors are from the UK and New Zealand and the writers from New Zealand where they don't really have the same kind of problems that we have in the States.
Yeah.
So as a near 40-year-old man, I would have liked something narratively that, like, at the end of the movie, like, Miles doesn't have any disregard for what he's done. He's going to go murder more people.
Yeah.
And he's totally okay with that. It's like, and we're left to believe that, like, Miles is a good person at the end of the movie.
We're left,
and, like,
and
Miles
Miles is better at the end of the movie. He's a better person.
Miles was not a good person to begin with.
No, he was not.
And morally, he is like not a good person at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But it kind of sets him up like, well, now he's the good guy going and hunt down other bad guys. Yeah, he's just as bad as all of them.
He's the Punisher.
Sure. Like, we shouldn't like Miles. And I feel like it set this character up to be liked.
Yeah. I think...
And that might be a little too real worldy, but it just, when the movie ended, I was like, I don't know if I don't know how I feel about this, or what the movie is telling me.
I think one of the things that the movie did pretty well was, as the movie progressed, I had more and more realization of like, oh, Miles really isn't that good of a guy.
Yeah.
Miles really isn't a good guy. And like when Nova, his girlfriend, is telling the cops, like, you got to save him. He's like, he's a good guy. He's just mixed up in this. And then the movie does a pretty good job of like okay, you've been told he's a good guy, and you've been kind of conditioned in media to think like you're following this guy,
right?
And
He's the hero.
He's the hero,
He's
and
the protagonist.
he's like an everyman who's been thrust into this.
Right.
Like he's a good guy. No, this strips away everything from him so that you realize, oh, he's not really a good guy. But in this society, there are movie society. There are so many
fictional world of the movie.
Yeah, there are so many worse guys.
Right.
That he's like, okay, he's doing horrible stuff, but
bad,
at least he's got his.
I'm not Richter.
Yeah, and he's got like regard for human life that he deems worthy of having value, as opposed to these psychopaths who have no regard for anyone's life.
So and he has his own network. It's not just like him hunting people down. He's created a whole network of people that are going to hunt down.
Yeah, that's what the end of the movie really seems like. They're coming up.
They're
with
like a Shield-esque organization that's going to hunt them all down.
Which is why I like that. Like he didn't get a happy ending.
Yeah,
because
he
didn't deserve
a happy ending.
I mean,
he doesn't get the girl, but
he doesn't get the girl. He does it.
His meaning in life is that he's the Punisher, like you said.
Yeah, his life is over, but he gets a new life. You know, like and you can argue that the life he had wasn't worth having in the first place.
Sure, but I would also argue that the life that he's embarking on should not be aspired to.
Oh no,
it
should not be.
He's still a troll. He's just a different kind of troll. And we shouldn't encourage trolls. Yeah, we shouldn't aspire to be trolls.
Yeah, no. And maybe I don't know. I guess I didn't. I left the movie kind of feeling bad for him. Like I didn't feel like he got like a hero shot at the end. I felt like, okay, he's still in a rough spot, but at least he's on a path.
See, it's interesting because I walked away from the movie like he's the Nick Fury of this world. He's putting like an organization together and a team. They're going to go out and just like murder the shit out of like bad dudes.
Yeah.
But like, do you remember Serenity?
Yes.
Where like Chitwell Ejiofor is like fighting Malcolm Reynolds, or like they're having a conversation, and he's like, Mal Reynolds says like, me and mine gotta go lay down and die so you and yours can live in your beautiful world. And he says, oh no, like I have no illusions that I'm going to get to live in the world that I create.
Yeah.
There's no place for me there.
Yeah.
Like I am a terrible person. I do terrible things. And when my crusade is over, I will fall on my sword.
Yeah.
Like I needed that at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I needed that like inner monologue, something. And maybe that was just the movie once again subverting my expectations. Like maybe that was this director's vision of like there are no good people in the world. I don't know what he was trying to say with that, but it after watching something for 90 minutes and like you and I both said at the end of it, like I don't know if I liked that movie.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of it for me.
And the world, other than Schism existing and being filled with these horrible people, the only other people we really see in the world are viewers of Schism, and they're also
they're garbage,
bloodthirsty, like totally fine with all this violence, and
at one point Radcliffe like turns to like you're all garbage.
Oh yeah, he calls out the viewers.
They laugh at
like
him.
You're what's letting this happen,
right?
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if I guess as the viewer, I needed to be rewarded at the end, or I guess at least shown that there's something redeeming about the world that I just spent 90 minutes in. I don't know. It
was nice that Nova, other than being traumatized by the event,
Nova gets a happy ending.
She gets a happy ending. She finds her inspiration for her
draw
art
her comic book.
She becomes a famous comic artist creator. So she kind of gets one, and that's it.
Yep.
I mean, that's it. No one else in this movie either survives or gets a happy ending.
Nyx straps
explosives. She does
explosive vest to herself and
take out fuckface.
Kills everybody.
Yep.
Blows herself up.
Yep.
And
she has her little thing about, I survived this long because I never trusted anyone else to take him out.
Right.
Oh, now I'm trusting you.
Yep.
And then she goes and clears the way, basically.
Yep. Boss battle.
So, and then her dad died, obviously. His friend died from work.
Yeah, that was, oh man.
That was another
subversion. They make you think they've got Nova
in the
car,
and Miles just fucked up, so they kill her.
And it's his friend from work that helped him.
Yep.
I felt bad for that guy.
They're bad guys. They're all bad guys. They're all bad guys.
They're all bad guys.
All right. I have a
yeah, I guess like, yeah, I needed someone to be a good person.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent, at least.
Decent.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody in this world that I just spent 90 minutes
There are, with the exception of Nova, there are no decent people in this movie.
Yeah, and I just
you need a decent, just like someone. I needed like some normalcy to
the camera.
Like to get the pacing. You needed some like moral normalcy.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. I'll end my rants with a ranty BQ, which will go into BQs. It drove me crazy, absolutely crazy that Miles, when he needs his inhaler, so he calls Nova to bring, and he's still hiding the fact that he has guns strapped to or bolted to his head. Like he's still trying to salvage a relationship. He doesn't call her
to get his inhaler. He's supposed to be meeting her.
He was supposed to meet with her the
next day.
But I think when he saw that he missed it and everything, he had that realization of like, she has my spare inhaler.
Yeah,
because otherwise he was having an asthma attack.
He was having. You're right. Yeah.
And so he went to meet her to get the inhaler, but like and again, I guess it comes down to the fact that he's not really a decent person.
Right.
Like there should have been full disclosure.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, Nova. I have guns bolted to my hands and people are trying to kill me.
And she says that later in like.
Yeah. Why didn't you?
I should have just told you what was happening.
And it just bothered me. And I just kept like screaming internally, like, why don't you just tell her? Why don't you just tell her?
Well, also you're going to get her killed.
And you're putting her in danger and you're playing this up like, oh, I got to keep this from her so that when it's all over, we can still be together. When it's like, no, that's not this kind of movie. And I already know that's not this kind of movie.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Strong agree.
Yeah.
That's like Ground Zero. Miles is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, she could have got a bullet through the head.
Oh, yeah.
He could. I mean, up until that point, he's like having misfires all over the place, too. That's what I thought was. I thought he was going to shoot her.
He could have shot her.
Jumping into the car.
He had a lot of misfires.
He had a lot of misfires.
A lot of his were not intended.
Yep. A lot of misfires. Yeah. I chalk that up to having guns
bolted to his
hands.
Yeah.
And like muscle spasms.
But at least he didn't shoot his dick off.
Let's put that in the win category.
That's a big win. All right, I have one other big question.
I have no big questions.
I really kept asking myself.
Okay. I hope I can give you a big A.
How did Miles keep lighting those trash can fires? He was always alone.
With a flaming trash can.
See, Nyx, because of the event where her family died, Nyx has like a fear, a phobia of fire, and she breaks down. So he knows that the only way to talk to Nyx, who just wants to kill him, is to have fire somewhere.
Fires. Yes.
So anytime he's trying to meet her, he makes sure that there are flaming trash cans around.
So one of the tropes of just movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to show that like you're in people are down on their luck here, there's a flaming trash can.
Well, there is.
It's literally in like every. We go to the seedy part of town. It's in Rocky. It's in like
it's in Batman Begins.
Cash. It's in Batman Begins. It's like in all of those 80s like shoot 'em up action. There's just how they show like this is a place that you shouldn't be. Flaming trash can.
So
I love that. That this is the movie's way of like once again hearkening back to. I like that you gave it like the psychology. This is the only way that he can talk to her is by having fire, so it like distracts her.
Yeah,
I didn't even go there.
Oh,
so
really?
Totally plausible. I was like, this is how just what this director has equated with.
Yeah.
Two characters who aren't allies that need to broach an alliance, like Spawn. There are like every time like Spawn goes back to his like seedy homeless community in the Spawn movie, there's a trash can on fire. This is like just what this director has grown up seeing in action movies.
Okay.
That's where I went. That's my answer. I like the answer that you've supplied much better. At least makes sense in the world.
Longtime listeners, if you saw Guns Akimbo and you have a
big question.
Well, a big question, or
please write into the show.
Or your thoughts on the trash cans. Were they intentionally placed by Miles, or were they
Were they tropes placed by the director?
Yeah, background dressing to show you the world. Right in. I'm legit.
Go with shadesandsketch@gmail.com.
I'm legit curious what
Me too.
what take is
I need to know. Inquiring minds like ours need to know.
They do.
My last question, Sketch, that I will offer, my big question is this entire movie a Jacob's Ladder scenario? When Miles is kidnapped, he does not survive. Oh, I'm sorry. When Miles jumps, everything that happens after he goes through the car window, a Jacob's Ladder scenario.
Could be.
Dream.
Could also be that he
didn't survive the guns being
the surgery.
That was my initial thought. But I feel like
it could. There's
I feel like it's too much for him to have like conjured Richter. I don't feel like there was enough for him to have like conjured Richter. But everything that happens after going through the car window, there was like enough encounters for him to like build out the rest of it.
Yeah.
Is it a Jacob's Ladder scenario event? And is Miles already dead? And this is the last moments of his gasping.
Like on the rooftop?
Well, yeah. I mean, the rooftop pauses, but like that would have also been part of his fever dream.
Yeah.
He's already dying.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Could be. It could be.
You're not willing to give a yes or no?
No, I don't think. I would go no based on nothing but gut.
Okay.
Nothing but gut on this one.
Okay.
I have no evidence to firmly say, no, it's not. It's just my gut saying, no, I think this world is just this shitty. His world. His world is just this shitty. That it all actually happened. And because I mean, like, Nyx walks around for a while with her like hand half blown off.
She got a knife thrown through.
Oh, right.
Her hand. Yeah. She goes to catch it, and it cuts off her.
That was another good. That was another good.
Subvert expectations that she would kill it.
Because you
thought. And then Miles uses Nyx's finger. No, she goes and picks up her own finger and flips someone off with it.
And he takes it. And then to be like, "What are you doing? Put this on ice. We can reattach it."
Yeah. And then at the end of it, he puts it in Richter's mouth.
Yeah, to help force him off
Nyx.
the.
Nyx says.
Nyx helped kill him.
Yeah, killed him. Yeah. I have one last big question.
Oh man, you went from having no big questions to having multiple big questions.
Okay, never mind.
No. I like this. It was just an observation.
It came and went.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. It's
gone. Ruined it.
You ruined it.
Oh well. I guess. Oh, and I think all said and done, even though we're both like, I don't know if I like this movie.
We had fun.
And it's definitely worth a single watch. If you have Amazon Prime, I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
It's there.
If you have Amazon Prime, watch it.
It's like, just be ready for just ridiculous fun.
It's just a ludicrous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're ready for that, I think you could have fun.
I agree.
That's the final.
Strong agree.
Final verdict.
Oh, I remember it. I remember what I was thinking.
Okay.
I didn't write it down. I thought it when I was watching it.
But
I didn't write it down. But I want to ask you. I didn't want to do it because a podcast that we both listen to has asked this question in the past, but I couldn't help but think it as I was watching it.
Okay.
In my brain, there's a version of this movie that was pitched in the 80s that would have starred Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah.
What are you like? Do you think this movie would have been better with Nick Cage playing the Miles character? Like in that crazy 1980s version of the movie, do you think you would have enjoyed like full on Nick Cage?
Oh yeah, I get what
you know
you're
what
asking.
I'm going here, right?
And I
organically thought about this when I was watching it, and I was like, no, I can't ask this question because
it feels like a Nick Cage crazy,
right?
Crazy
Doesn't
Nick
it
Cage
feel
movie.
like it should be a Nick Cage movie?
But truly, part of the charm of this movie to me is that it's
Daniel Radcliffe, right?
And that, like, just by being him, I know it's kind of a cop out because just by being him, it brings something to it,
right?
And then after that, he also brings stuff. Like, he passively brings something to it, and then actively brings something to it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's him gives me an extra level of enjoyment.
Right.
I could easily see Nicolas Cage like at peak doing this movie and just going batshit crazy, and like it's just being so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it would be
very
missing
different.
that level that Daniel Radcliffe brings. That one layer that that Daniel.
I agree, but I couldn't help but like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this like
it fits.
This movie had to have been pitched in the 80s.
Yeah.
As a Nicolas Cage vehicle.
Yeah.
Hands down.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
I had to look up what Akimbo meant.
Oh, what does it mean?
Akimbo is the name for the stance that you take when you have your hands to your side, like on your hips.
Well, that makes
Standing
absolute
Akimbo.
No sense then, because his pose is hands up all the time. And that's even what's on the poster.
Yeah, I think
he doesn't put his hands on his hips.
I wish one thing that I thought was maybe it's just down to your side, but you're right, they're always up.
They're always up.
It's a gesture, or not a gesture.
I think that was to control, as I've been told, that's to control swelling. You have to keep your hands elevated above your heart.
He was also trying to get the cops not to shoot at him too.
Well, I mean, he had guns strapped to us. That's not going to help.
I wish that the internet didn't give him the name Guns Akimbo. I wish that the reveal wasn't until the comic book.
I agree. Yep.
That Nova gave him.
I agree.
Because then
that made sense.
Then he has something from her.
I don't understand where the internet came up with that.
I don't either.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
That would be a rave. I mean, that would be a rant that he was called. The internet called him Guns Akimbo.
Yeah. Yeah. They would have definitely come up with something else.
I wish I had looked it up. I wish I was the type of person that was like, what is that? I was like, I don't know. Yeah. Good on you, Sketch.
Yeah, thanks. I guess that brings us to
Shades and Sketch
recommendations. What you
got? Okay, so totally out of left field here. I am going to recommend a comic.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone back to
DC.
Gone back. I'm trying it. They brought Nightwing back.
Yeah.
So I gave it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I said I would. I was like, if they're not going to bring him back, like maybe I'll give it a try when this Rick Grayson phase is over.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, and so I did, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I think the writing
specifically, or the DC
Nightwing specifically. Okay. I've tried some other stuff, and I'm like, nope, you're just doing New 52 again for a third time, and I'm out. So Nightwing specifically, I am enjoying. The writing's really smart. They're hearkening back to a lot of stuff that I think made you and I love the book and the character when he in the original run of Nightwing. And I texted you some frames of like the writing and the tropiness, right down to there's this fun exchange between Tim Drake Robin, Nightwing, and Barbara Gordon, who's back to being Oracle. It's like Tim Drake's like, so Babs spent the night last night? And it's like, I slept on the couch. And Babs like, I'm on this line, guys. And it's like the whole thing's playing out as they're doing like crazy like gymnastics. And the thing that's fantastic is Barbara Gordon is wearing a t-shirt that is the Batman meme of like Batman slapping Robin.
Oh, really? I didn't pick up on that.
And it's just so fucking smart.
Yeah.
Like if you're not really paying attention to what's going on, just the writing is particularly good. And there seems to be like a real love and appreciation for all of the characters in a way that hasn't been present. I don't think the writer's fault, but just in what DC has decided that they were doing over the last couple of years. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I've gone back. I've enjoyed the first 5 issues of the return of Nightwing, Dick Grayson, as we've known him in the past. And I'm happy that the Rick Grayson phase is over. We'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
So I am tentatively reading a DC comic.
There you go. That you tentatively recommend.
I'm only 5 issues into the story that they're telling right now. We'll see how it continues to play out. But fingers crossed. I hope we continue to have. I think the only reason it's working so well is because you have this dynamic of Nightwing, Robin, Oracle.
Yeah.
I think if this was like the way they've typically done Nightwing stories in the past, of Nightwing on his own, getting in over his head and like struggling to make it out alive as they tend to go, and then like something happens to him and he like becomes a spy or like becomes a different person. It's like if you're gonna go down that road again, like I will just never go back.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm reading one DC comic.
There you go.
I'm enjoying it, and I mean, fingers crossed. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
So Nightwing. I believe that is issue 80 in the current run.
Okay.
It starts at. It's either 80 or 81. The arc is called Heartless, I believe.
Ooh. All right. Well, glad to hear Nightwing is bouncing back.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
big fans of Dick on this podcast.
Grayson.
You know it. All right. I am going to recommend a computer game. I'm going to recommend a video game because over the summer, Steam had its big summer sale.
Oh, yeah.
And just like Amazon recommended Guns Akimbo to me, Steam was like, hey, you like games like Subnautica and Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
Survivor games. This is a highly rated Survivor game. So I checked it out. It's called Valheim. And right now I am addicted. So the premise of Valheim is you are a Viking who has died and have gone to the next life. And you've kind of resurrected on this plane of existence that you have to earn your way into Valhalla.
Interesting.
And you have nothing. There are fantasy creatures and fantasy beasts and everything there, but it's very grounded in real world. You know, like there's forests and streams, and it's at the core of it. It's a surviving game. It's a survival game. So you have to find the materials you need to survive, to build fortifications, to build better weapons, build better armor. However, to progress through the game, you also have to become pretty adept at combat, because some things that you need to get stronger or to get better or to access new areas only come from enemies or bosses.
Sure.
So it has this kind of Norse mythology feel to it. It has the survival aspect that I love in games. I think I finally landed on that. Survival games are my favorites to play. I can really get lost in a survivor game, and that's kind of why I play video games. Just get lost in another world for a little while.
Yeah.
So it has pretty fun combat. It's not wildly difficult. I mean, it is when you're under equipped and under geared, but you make it better on yourself, and you yourself get better as a player. And though it's a procedurally generated map with certain biomes.
What is procedurally generated map?
It means that, like, if you bought the game and logged in, you would have your own custom environment that I don't have.
Oh, okay.
So like
it's based on the interactions of the game.
And like when you first launch it, like it's going to build a game out of all of these digital assets that it has. It's going to build a world for you.
No two people play the same game.
Exactly. The same map. No two people will have the same map. Now you'll have the same materials, and you'll have the same biomes, and you'll have the same enemies, but they're all going to be configured in different ways.
That's interesting.
And it's enormous. Like
you like those enormous, like,
yeah, I do.
Explore worlds.
Yeah, there's a lot of exploration.
Was it you that recommended No Man's Sky?
Yep.
Again, okay,
yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's very No Man's Sky.
It's in that, yeah, it just in a Viking sense,
Gotcha.
And it's more combat based. And like when you're in the forest, for example, and you're just surrounded by trees, and it's just trees as far as you can see. Like,
do you miss the forest?
Well, I miss the forest, but I also, like, you feel really immersed in it. You really feel like these things are around you.
Is it first person?
I might be able to. I always play in third person,
yeah.
But the distance. Now the graphics are really low by design. Gotcha. They're almost like PlayStation 1 graphics.
Interesting.
But that lets them really populate the place with assets and materials, so that you really feel like when you're in the forest, you don't think like, oh, this is a zone. I'm in the forest, and now I'm not in the forest.
Right.
Like you're fucking lost in the forest.
Wow.
And so if you like survival games, and a little bit of crafting with building, Valheim, I think is a strong contender right now. There's also ship travel, because there's a lot of ocean in the game, and I was getting some Wind Waker vibes from it too, because you have to build your own ships to get some places. So highly recommend Valheim.
Cool.
If that's your jam. It's my jam.
Good rec. Sketch, are you in the know on the Steam handheld system that they're coming out with?
I'm not in the know. I saw it announced.
Yeah.
That they're launching their own handheld. It's
You
kind of exciting.
You gonna go in on it?
I'll see. I don't do a lot of handheld gaming anymore. That's
you have a Switch, right?
I do have a Switch. My wife uses it as the handheld. I use it as the console device. I'm just not big into. I don't go a lot of places, so I don't really need a portable thing. And the places I go, I can't
game.
I can't game. So, I would be intrigued though, because it would really. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of different independent games lately on Steam, and there's so many good things out there that I like the idea. I applaud the idea of having a handheld.
That's awesome.
That let independent studios put out stuff onto that. So I will. For right now, I think I'm in the camp of I'm going to watch the news and see how it unfolds, and I'm not against it, but I'm not like I'm going to be one of the first ones to get it. I'm going to see how it unfolds.
Cool.
Wow.
Good rec.
Thank you. Good rec for you.
Sketch, you gonna take anything from Guns Akimbo?
I am.
What are you gonna take?
I'm gonna take this middle finger.
Okay.
And just in case I ever need the extra oomph in flipping somebody off.
Sure.
Now it's like in caps because I got two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good choice.
Well, three. If I give two middle fingers with my own hands,
you could stick it to your head and be a unicorn.
I could be that.
Yep.
As well. Yeah.
You could shove it up.
You can do lots of different things with it. So it's very handy.
Yeah.
Are you going to take anything?
I'm going to take this Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Yep. There it is.
I'm a sucker for a muscle car.
Is that what Miles was driving at the very end?
That's what he's driving at the very, very end.
There you go.
Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Thank you very much. Stick shift.
The garage expands ever.
Yeah.
Love it. We're very lucky that we have the
infinite space.
Yeah, the Time Lord technology.
Yeah, it was I'm happy that we touched on Doctor Who for a hot minute there.
Yeah.
It was a good acquisition.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we needed the tech.
We needed the tech.
We would have run out of space real soon.
I don't know if we needed the episode.
This ever growing mantle that we have.
Hey. It's brought us hours and hopefully the longtime listeners, hours of enjoyment. Years of enjoyment.
Speaking of longtime listeners, thanks guys for joining us again.
Yeah.
I do hope you watched Guns Akimbo before we talked about
I really
Guns
do.
Akimbo. We normally do something that we're pretty confident you've
let's
seen.
do the tag now.
Okay.
And I'll splice it in at the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
I probably won't.
Do it. But here
let's give our best read.
Okay.
Hey, longtime listeners. Before you listen to this episode, you may want to give Guns Akimbo a watch.
You could try it. You can find it on Amazon Prime. It's free if you're a Prime member. It's kind of this movie that snuck in under the radar, and we really spoiled the bejeebers out of it.
Yeah, somewhat unintentionally.
And it's short. It's easy to manage. It's
self-contained universe.
So yeah, definitely recommend picking it up if you're the kind of person who cares about spoilers.
Yeah,
and we recommend watching it if you're into a good time.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Right now.
And I guess that means we'll...
Wait, now are we at the end?
Now we're at the end.
So we're... Oh, gosh.
It's wibbly wobbly.
It's very wibbly wobbly. So, guys, I guess that means... We'll see you next time.
I want to try something.
Oh, okay.
Bangering!
How'd that feel, everybody?
I felt good.
Okay. See you next time. If you'd like to take a more active role in supporting Geeking Out, visit us at
our website, shows.acast.com/geekingout.
You can email the show at gowithshadesandsketch@gmail.com or contact us through Facebook or Twitter.
Geeking Out is a production of Tree Cave Creative, LLC. All rights reserved, 2021.